Cicero, or Cicero, one of the many statesmen, lawyers, scholars, orators, and writers from ancient Rome, born Marcus Tullius Cicero early during 106 BCE in Arpinum Latium, has a renowned political career and many works he wrote which gave rise to some of the greatest philosophers from Europe. Academics now use his writings to both understand the political climate of Rome during the late Republic and how ancient Romans may have spoken Latin. Educated in three of the four main philosophies, Cicero studied in Greece and Rome under these three idiots, these two being Greek: the Epicurean Phaedrus, a philosopher under Epicureanism, or simply a belief similar to hedonism; Philo of Larissa, an academic skeptic; and Diodotus the Stoic. Under these three, Cicero developed the belief that nature was the true god of reason and that nature's laws were the divine laws. Later, being too young to join the courts and start a political career, Cicero would serve under Pompeo Strabo in 89 BCE before his first appearance defending Publius Quinctius in the courts in 81. His second defense was Roscius Junior, after he was accused of murdering his father. This case would cement Cicero as a successful orator. He'd later leave Rome with his brother to go to Asia Minor in 79 to 77, before returning early in 75 and becoming quaestor in western Sicily later the same year, marking his first entry into politics. 9 years later, Cicero would hold his first public speech as praetor against Quintus Lutatius Catulus, or Catulus and the leading opponents, who were against Cicero's friend Pompey and his campaign in northeastern Anatolia against Mithridates VI. Cicero advocated for Pompey and his campaign, ultimately winning. The nerd would go and become consul in 63, using the Optimus to win against his opponents, Catiline and Servilius Rulus, opposing the agrarian bill, while also drawing attention to Catiline's conspiracy to overthrow Rome and a pathetic good-for-nothing childlike tantrum after failing to gain the place of consul the year before. At the end of 60 BCE, Gaius Julius Caesar would offer Cicero a place in the first triumviratus, composed of Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey, and later a place on his staff in Gaul in 58. Cicero rejected both offers, calling the triumvirate unconstitutional. During the same year as 58 BCE, Publius Claudius Pulcher rose to tribune and Cicero fled from Rome in fear due to accusing Claudius of profanity, not in the sense of yelling but in the sense of invading a private ceremony for women. The following day, Claudius passed two laws. The latter, Lex Claudia de Capite Civis Romani, reaffirmed the Roman citizens' right to appeal the magistrate's law without fear of punishment unless through trial, also known as the provocatio. The provocatio also had a punishment for senators. While this was a case-by-case problem, Cicero's case would be given the verdict of exile, making Cicero officially exiled from Rome. During this, Cicero moved to Thessalonica, Macedonia, where he wrote Ad Atticum and later to Illyricum. It was called back on August 4th in 57 by Pompey and Tribune Titus Annius Minor, who Cicero would write Fruiminī for. After Cicero failed to estrange Pompey from Caesar, he wrote the speech De Provinciis Consularibus, marking his political alignment with the triumvirate and later abandoning public life after accepting too many distasteful defenses. For the next few years, he would complete more literary works, namely De Oratore, De Republica, and began De Legibus in 52 BCE. In 51, Cicero governed Sicilia for a year before returning to Rome, while Caesar and Pompey were struggling for complete power. Cicero reached the outskirts of Rome as Caesar crossed the Rubicon in 49 BCE. Obviously disapproving of Caesar's dictatorship, Cicero still kept his mouth shut as he knew without Caesar he would be the first to be attacked by outside forces or other political rivals. During the dictatorship, Cicero would enter another literary period, writing the works of Brutus, Paradoxus Stoicorum, and Orator in 46 BCE and De Finibus in 45. Once Caesar was murdered in 44, Cicero then finished Tusculanae Disputationes, De Natura Deorum, and De Officiis. During September the same year, Cicero would write and deliver the first of his 14 Philippic orations, delivering the last in April the next year in 43 BCE. These orations marked his vigorous re-entry into politics and the beginning of Cicero attempting to make the Senate compromise and declare war on Mark Antony. Unfortunately, Caesar's adopted nephew, Octavian, would become victim to one of Cicero's remarks, stating Octavian should be praised and then disposed of. This would come back to bite Cicero, as Octavian and Mark Antony would form the second triumvirate and order that Cicero be executed. Unfortunately, while on the run, Cicero would be captured and killed near Gaeta on September 7th in 43 BCE. His punishment after death was for his hands to be displayed at the rostra and his head on the speaker's platform at the forum. Nowadays, his literary works are one of the only things that historians and linguists have that shows the political climate of the Roman Republic and how their courts worked, as well as how they spoke Latin back then. Cicero wrote and received over 900 letters during this time and plenty of books, 57 to be exact. Many of his works works were either philosophical or political. So, I'm going to read a summary of Pro Quintio, Pro Roscio, Amarino, and Pro Melone. Pro Quintio. A land dispute after the friend of the father attempts to steal the land for himself. Pro Roscio Amarino. A second defense case, where the son is accused of murdering his father to gain land. After the father was murdered, an associate of Sulla placed the father's land up for auction, which was then bought by said associate. Cicero defended Roscius in 3 parts. 1. Roscius had no motive to kill his father. 2. The actual guilty were the accusers, Magnus and Capito. And 3. The associate, Chrysogonus, is the mastermind, as he was brought into the case without any connections. Pro Melone. Titus Annius Milo was accused of killing the political enemy, Publius Clodius Pulcher. Cicero's defense was bad. He didn't deny the idea that Milo had killed him, but that the killing was in self-defense, and that Clodius's death was good for the Republic, as he was a leader of many plebeian mobs. Obviously, Cicero failed, and Milo went into exile in the Gallic town Massila, or modern-day Marseille.